Hello again and welcome back to Datafied YouTube channel. Let's conclude our video series on data visualization. In this very video, my focus will be on discussing about scatter plots. We have gone through a series of different types of plots in this video series. We looked at the bar charts or bar graph. We also considered pie charts. We talked about the pie chart versus donut charts. Next, we looked at line graph, and now we want to talk about scatter plots. To understand the idea of scatter plots and to have a practical visualization or practical application of scatter plots, I'd like us to investigate if there is a relationship between the size of a group which visits the restaurant and the amount that the server gets tipped from this group. Now we can achieve this by visually considering the relationship using a scatter plot. Scatter plots are a powerful form of visualization which allow us to view many data points at once. Typically, two variables are considered for a given set with x and y axis Cartesian coordinates being used to place markers representing the data. Additionally, variables can also be represented by adding further visual properties to make to the markers, such as modifying their size, the shape, or the color. In the case of our scatter plots, we seek to observe both the bill total and the associated tip received for each data entry, and to code these values based upon the related group size. We can use the first two variables for the plots x and y axis respectively and represent the group size variable by using different marker colors. Yes, it's also important to note that for scatter plots, we use numerical variables to create scatter plots, not categorical. So the first step I would like to take is to have a proper visualization of my data by using the fig size attribute or argument to increase the size. So when you want to increase the size of your charts, you just put in fig size equals whatever value dimension you would like. So I want it to be 10 meter or 10 centimeters wide and 5 centimeters high. Okay, so here is me defining the fig and the axis. So I say fig comma axis, but the fig and the axis to take these subplots measurements or size. The next step I would take is to create the scatter plot with the size variable being coded as the marker color. Here I have this as scatter, and we have the axis ax.scatter because that's been defined here already, and then I'm giving it the data frame of the total bill. All right, and then I also give it the data frame of the tip. So I'm trying to create a class of the total bill and the tip from the data frame we have. And next, I would like to assign the size, this class C, as the size, which is going to be the color code. The size using the size of the tip or the size of the group. I think the size here represents group, right? The size of the group as the different color code for the different classes that's going to be formed. While the alpha 0.8, like I mentioned, we set the parameter to make the marker slightly transparent to view overlapping points. So that is what the parameter alpha does, makes it a little bit transparent, and the value goes from 0 to 1. All right, now we create our legend based upon the underlying group size and color assignments. So we use the ax.legend and use asterisk scatter.legend elements. That is the first argument I'm calling for that the legend argument. Then the location, I'm using best as my location for my legend elements. Then title, I want to use the group size as my legend title. Okay, and we go ahead and add other parameters. And next is to run this cell to see the output. And when you run the cell, you have the output as expected. So as you can see from this scatter plot, that the charts must hold most information. So there are different colors, and we have from 1 to 6. So as it goes from 1 darker color to 6 to yellow. All right. Firstly, we see a general trend that as the group size increases. So here is the group size from 1 to 6. As the group size increases, all right, so does the bill total and the amount tipped. So as we have, here is the bill total. Okay, bill total increases from 10 to 50. The amount tipped increases from 2 to 10. So, and the closer it is, the smaller the group size. This particular circle here, dots, represents a very small, group size. The smaller the group size, the smaller the bill total, and the very tiny the tip they get. But as it increases, as the group size increases, we have the bill total also increases, and then the amount tipped also increases. Now you also see that interestingly, the scatter plot fans out in a kind of cone shape. It fans out in a cone shape. Can you see that as it extends, as the bill total increases, the data points scatter out, like they scatter out, they spread out. So it forms a kind of cone shape, and this indicates that as the bill increases, there is also more variance in the tips produced. So there are a lot of variance in the tip produced. So lastly, it is also surprising to note that the highest tip produced come from the mid-size groups between 3 and 4. Can you see around here we have the highest feed? So group size 3 and 4. You can find it around here, the mid-size from 3 to 4 individuals. And this may represent a dynamic where larger groups tend to both order and tip less, based on the fact that the bill is either being generously picked up by one group member or split by group as a whole. And it's also important to note that the last point is an assumption, however, and cannot be supported by the chart alone, highlighting the need for further data-driven analysis, which often accompanies evaluation of a visualization. So you can see the analysis that we are able to carve out from this chart. That tells you that it's beyond just creating a chart, but there is a very strong power in seeing the insights from the chart. So that is what differentiates between someone who knows how to create chart and a data analyst. So a data analyst should be able to see a chart and bring a story from the chart, while a random individual who knows how to use Python or any visualization tool can just create a chart, but may not necessarily have the ability to see the insights or the story around the chart. So this is how to create a pie chart, a scatter plot, to say. Please feel free to play around it and then see how you can come up with your own by making other modification or adjustments to see how great it looks. Alright, thank you very much for watching this. This brings us to the very end of the video series on creating plots, introduction to plots, creating plots in Python. We will see more videos on data visualizations as we in our next series of videos where we'll be talking about Seaborn and maybe Plotly. Thank you guys once more. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share this video if you found it interesting and educating enough. Okay, see you in the next series. Goodbye and have a wonderful day.